Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween.
Silver Shamrock.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween.
Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the horror-thon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian. Guest starring Mac.
Mac's back.
It's a little crazy right now. We're if you haven't figured it out, we're doing Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. What? No Michael Myers.
And it's Halloween Day. This is
no Michael
dropping
Myers
on Halloween, so happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. But
The
Jamie
best
Lee
Halloween.
Curtis was in the movie.
Who was that
She
singing
was-
in the beginning? They sounded great.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch. It's,
This came out around Halloween time, right? Unlike most of the Halloween movies we've done this year,
the
it came out
release
in July
date,
and stuff.
theatrical release date was October 22nd, 1982. So yeah, right before Halloween, 9 days before, which is when I think is what this first song was. 9 days till Halloween.
Well, they were being
Halloween.
very
Or 8 days. It was 8 days. was the
obvious
first
with
one,
their
yeah.
Sunday.
Yes, it started on
October
the 24th.
24th or whatever. I was like, do we need to do a countdown here?
This was streaming on the Peacock network. I watched it there. Is that where everybody else watched it, or where did you guys watch it at?
That's where I
Amazon Prime.
watched it.
How'd you
Amazon
watch
Prime?
it?
Amazon Prime.
I just found it somewhere.
Okay. Running time is an hour and 38 minutes. It's rated R. I mentioned the release date, and it was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace.
The drummer for Motley Crue. Oh, no.
Some of his other credits were The Fog, but he was an actor in that.
Okay. So he's a John Carpenter guy.
Fright Night 2, he directed Assault on Precinct 13, and Halloween 3 were his,
Yeah, good
his
resume.
other top four.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I love The Fog.
Although it had
Fog's a great movie.
John Carpenter's fingerprints all over the movie.
Yeah. And was he a producer on this? Like his name was in the
Yes.
credits, but
Yeah.
like was
I
he
noticed
like
that.
John Carpenter was also on the music of this as well.
definitely?
Of course.
Oh man.
Here's our two descriptions. The first will be our first is the mini IMDb description that basically doesn't tell us shit. Kids all over America want silver shamrock masks for Halloween. Dr. Daniel Chalice seeks to uncover a plot by silver shamrock owner Conal Cochran, which is a weird
Good name. Good job with the names there, dude, because I would not have been able to do
Conal
them.
Cochran.
And even Tom Atkins.
Daniel
name.
Chalice?
Yeah, Chalice.
And here's the full where it gets more in depth. After the death of her father under suspicious circumstances, Ellie Grimbridge and Dr. Daniel Chalice, let's talk about their romance in a little bit,
For sure.
decide to investigate the shady activities of Conal Cochran, the owner of the Silver Shamrock Novelties Company. Before long, they discover Cochran's diabolical plot to brainwash the children of America into doing his bidding through a mixture of ancient rituals, technology, and witchcraft. This Halloween, wearing the mask of a skeleton, a witch, or a pumpkin can be deadly. Can Ellie and Daniel thwart the plans of the evil toy maker?
Okay.
Thwart. I don't use that word a lot.
The first rule in business is not to kill your customers.
Yeah, I think that was inaccurate. It wasn't to control the kids that killed them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can we just get this right out of the way right at the start? If you have the technology to build androids that look human, why do you have to like kill people? Like you have all the power in the world, super strong androids. That's it. That's where your plan ends right there. Go take over the
You
world.
can take over the world easily.
They were like the first animatrons.
And he could steal
Fembots.
a Stonehenge rock.
Yeah. And you know what? I was really pissed off when he said,
It was right. It was really easy.
he's like, don't even get me started on how hard that was. I'm like,
Get here.
I would like to hear the story on how you got the Stonehenge rock
Yeah,
without
better
anybody
than this
noticing.
Halloween 3 story.
Oh my God. And the silver shamrock thing, it's always been one of those things that I'm like, that's such a leprechaun St. Patrick's Day thing. I was always bugged by that. You know, that I was like, every time they
There's no
brought
way
silver shamrock.
masks would take over the world too. Like
They weren't supposed to take over. They were supposed to kill all the kids, and then the
but
spiders
it just
and
seems
the
like
worms would crawl
that's
out.
not the way to go after kids. I think there's a better way to go.
Well,
after
he was
kids.
talking
See,
about
like, you know,
the
Yeah, like putting
sacrifice.
razor
Go
blades in
after
their
c-
candy, you
in the
know? It's the
cereal.
old-fashioned way.
you should have went after the cereal. That's
He was,
the way to get.
he
to
was
the
talking
kids.
about the sacrifice.
That's how
of
you
children.
get to the children. Children.
And I was very, very disappointed in myself when I read that for promoting this movie, they released all 3 of these masks as like promotional
Did they?
material. I'm like, how did I not have these in my house in 1983?
You should
Or
have them now.
1983?
Did you look them up?
I did. Like, it's like
Were they wondering why they
How did
didn't
that
sell?
$1,000.
They're like, oh, these masks might kill my kids.
$1,000 for the full set.
Yeah, $1,000 for all 3. I was like, well, I'm not buying that, but you
That
can
would
buy
be-
like
how cool would
knockoff
that
ones
be,
for like
though, right?
$50.
That would be cool.
They were really shitty looking
Framed,
masks too. Every time
Framed, yeah, they were really shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the process. I liked watching them make them, the
That was-
molds and
it
stuff
Yeah, but
like
the
that.
QC process they couldn't show you.
They showed the final destination or whatever it was.
Because that had Stonehenge dust on
Trade
it.
secrets.
Who knew
Trade
that
secret.
Stonehenge, which that's England, right?
Didn't they know it was missing?
Yeah, they didn't know
it
it
was
was a
like
big-
it's like missing a tooth.
So Stonehenge is in England, but this guy's Irish and
He had an English accent.
and he had an
though.
English accent. And what's that all have to do with like lasers? Like, I don't know. There's
And, then,
all-
and like every movie, at the end, he like unveils his plot to Tom Atkins, of
And,
course.
like-
Tells him why, with Halloween, you're supposed to, it's all about the trick.
That misfire
Not
was
the
pretty
trick.
wild too. Remember
the misfire. And
Oh, yeah.
he had the bad guy had maybe one of the best deaths in movie history, as he just like slow clapped, like
Yes.
looking up at them in the rafters and slow clap, knowing he was about to die. I was like, wow. I'm like, that's it, huh? He's just not going to
he's
try to
going out like
escape or
that.
anything. Okay.
I was a little confused by, Tom Atkins finds the box full of the medallions, silver.
Tom
shamrock.
Atkins, still alive, 87 years old.
Oh, good for him.
He played Dr. Daniel Chalice. His top 4, Halloween 3 is in there. Can you give me his other top 4?
Is Creep Show in there? We were talking about him on Creep Show when we did that
Creepshow's
one.
not
was
in there,
in Creep
but
Show,
he-
right?
Yeah,
He's
he
in the
was
the,
his
the,
dad.
the
He was
dad, the
yeah,
one
in
that hits the
between
kid, and
the epilogues. I think they called
the
them. but
prologue,
yeah,
epilogue, the setup, the framing device.
Was he in Escape from New York?
Yeah. Was he in this?
I don't know, but he was in.
He's in one of my favorite
The Fog,
80s
right?
horror movies.
He's in The Fog.
Okay.
He's in Night of the Creeps,
Oh, is
which
he?
is one of my
And he's also
favorite.
in Lethal Weapon. He's
Oh, that's right. He died right away.
He's the guy that gets shot by the helicopter
Yes.
at his daughter's funeral. He gets shot by the helicopter when he's drinking the eggnog.
I don't think you'll get his other top 4. It was My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Oh, so he was like a horror movie guy to the max.
and
huh?
yeah, I think I saw something as this year that he was in. So
so he's still working at
like
87.
sporadically,
Huh?
he's got, and I think he's got about 80 some credits on his.
for him.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. If there was a warning for nudity in this, the fact that the nudity was his ass getting out of bed, I was like, kind of like,
know,
come on,
dude, that was messed up. That girl.
Well, he was suckling on her titty.
Yeah, that was some major
Yeah.
nipple sucking.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that too. Like that,
that
whole
was a
sex
cool
scene.
scene.
Remember when he's like, "I'll sleep in the car." He was talking about, it, and he's like, "Well, where do
or
you wanna
I'll
sleep?"
bang you. Like,
Yeah,
If you
He's
want
like,
to.
What kind of question is that, Miss? Whatever her last name, Grimbridge.
And
Whatever.
then they
That's a
just started
stupid
sucking
question.
face. Yeah.
and then they were having sex like immediately. And Michelle was kind of like in and out. And I'm like, he just met her like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Christine watched this whole movie.
Did she? Did she really?
I like that. After they had sex a few times, he's like, "How old are you?"
I have that in my notes. I
That's
was
how you're
like,
supposed
is
to do
this
that.
not a little late to be asking
ask
this
after.
question? How old are you? 16.
Well, he was probably sober for the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's,
They were
that's the
bringing up
watcher.
his drinking.
16. She was just the
The
kid.
daughter 16?
Yeah, daughter 16 and the watcher.
My
yeah.
takeaway from this is that Dr. Daniels was a drunkard because when she first came to go find him, he was at the bar and they're like, "Oh
And he
yeah,
had a
everyone
six-pack
at
on
the
top of the-
hospital
when he-
said that I could find you here."
And then when he's leaving, he called his ex-wife or whoever that was.
Yeah,
and
she
he's
was always
with the
yelling at
kids,
him.
And he's like, I don't know the name of the hotel. And he grabbed the 6-pack and hopped in the car with
Yep. And then he kept
When he
saying, "I
goes-
need a drink."
Yeah, when he goes to like his kid's house at the beginning.
That's the only time you see them.
To give them the masks and they already have the.
Mom already
the
got us, man.
Yeah, she says something about like, oh, a drunk doctor or like something like that. And by the way, bad choice not getting Adrienne Barbeau to play that ex-wife because
Oh, yeah.
it would have been just like Billy from Creep Show. Like
It would
they
have
should have had her.
been perfect.
Yeah,
That
they should have
been
her
perfect casting. And maybe
And-
she was busy. She would have been doing Swamp Thing.
She might have been. She might have been.
Well, he was also an absentee father because he was off chasing, silver shamrocks
So
and young tail. And then he also had that other girl that was investigating and looking into the parts
the girl, the nurse,
autopsy.
the coroner lady.
She was
yeah.
all over him. She
Yeah.
wanted him dead,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Yeah, bitch." Kept blowing her off, and he's with the 16-year-old daughter.
I read that she suffered an injury on set when they killed her. When the guy came
The
down
drill?
with the drill,
Yeah.
it actually got caught in her hair.
No shit.
And, like yanked her hair or something like that. Yeah, I was like, they have
the
a
scream
real.
maybe
they
the
have a
scream
real
might have been
drill.
real.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
a real drill on set doing this. Like,
They
really?
didn't even show that.
No, they
part.
didn't.
Right.
But the fact that they even had that drill anywhere near an actor, like, was Alec Baldwin producing this movie or something?
And that was
like
my thought. They didn't even show that part, Brian. But they, it's supposed to be a horror film. You're supposed to show that shit.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
expecting to.
I mean, they
see
showed the
yeah.
woman in bed with her face all melted apart.
Yeah.
So, like, they
We
were
saw
showing a
the
little
shadow.
gore.
Remember, we just saw the shadow of the.
The drill was that what it was?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
it.
At the very beginning of this movie, when Ellie, is that her name? When her dad's
it's,
running through the car.
Stacey Nelkin. She plays Ellie Grimbridge.
So at one point he's on the ground and the android, you don't know it's an android yet, but it's some guy is on top of him and he undoes the wheel chuck and
Yes.
the car rolls back on him.
Oh, when he
at
pinned him?
at like a mile an hour and killed him.
That wasn't
I'm
even
like-
a mile an
I'm like,
hour.
I
I
don't
mean-
think
Like that,
I was like,
like-
I don't think that would kill him. And then when you find out he's an android, it shouldn't have killed him.
Yeah,
No,
but that,
it's supposed
I
to be
was like-
tough.
He got out
When
of
it
that-
hits him, he goes,
It's like he went to sleep.
exactly.
Like maybe it hit his off button.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
They have it on their like left
It's like an
arm.
off switch. I'm shutting down now, sir. C-3PO when he was shutting down.
Shut him up or shut him down. One of the Han Solo's best lines
Stacey
ever.
Nelkin, who played Ellie. Do you want to try any of her top four?
No.
I know
I'm
her from
I'm just going to tell you:
somewhere else.
Halloween 3, Bullets Over Broadway, Yellowbeard, and Hunter.
So wait a minute. Bullets Over Broadway is Woody Allen, right? So
I
that's
believe
like
so, yeah.
she was in a Woody Allen movie. That's like for an actor, that's a big deal.
And then
And,
I
I
had
know she was only 23.
Well, you know what? When he asked her age, I looked up how old she was, and she was 11 years older than us. So
At the time.
yeah. So I was
Well,
like,
She's
now,
24 years younger than him.
well,
Is that,
for
is that, I was just going to say, did
movie-wise-
you look up the difference between them two? 24?
24, yeah.
But the fact that she was 23 was, I'm like, oh, she's well.
Well, she
you know, she's-
wanted it more than him. It seemed like almost at
Oh,
first.
yeah.
You know?
She's got daddy issues. Well, her dad was dead.
Playing
The issue was her dad was dead.
playing Conal Cochran was Dan O'Hurley. His top four: Halloween 3, and can you get any of
Yes,
his?
RoboCop.
He was
I
old
remember
man.
him
He was
in
old
that.
man
And
from
RoboCop
RoboCop 1 and
2,
2,
yep.
right? Yeah, he's in 1 and 2. He's
and
in
then
1.
The Last Starfighter was his other.
He's in Last Starfighter. What do you have any
I
idea
don't
what his
have
character
his
is?
character.
I
no.
love Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
what
that
year
was a
was Last
great-
Starfighter?
I want to say that's like 80.
I was gonna say 86 or 7.
5-ish. Yeah, it was-
Yeah,
it
that's
could be
I
little later,
love
yeah.
Last Starfighter. That's such a fun, stupid movie. Like
Yeah.
at the very dawn of the computer generated graphics, because it would look like half a cartoon. Like most of the time when they're in space flying around, you're just like, is that
And then,
guy drawing this shit by hand?
Michael Curry, he played Rafferty.
Which one was Rafferty? I don't know who that is.
He was the other old guy.
The Irish guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
like
motel
the motel owner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and his top four was Sudden Impact, Halloween 3,
Oh, okay.
Airplane 2, the sequel.
How about the top salesman? He looked familiar.
The guy that looked like Buddy Hackett. And
Yes.
His name was Buddy.
Well, maybe that's why he looked familiar.
That's the only. I didn't do any more of the cast. That was the top.
Okay.
I just did the
Every
top.
time
I
that
think
guy
he
was,
was in other stuff too. Yeah.
yeah, he looked familiar.
but every time he was on, I'm like, this looks like Buddy Hackett. And then he said his name was Buddy. I'm like, did they just call him that because he looks like Buddy Hackett?
I found 4 taglines for this movie. You know how like the movie posters or whatever. So for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, it was like, and now the earth will run with blood again. Was one.
Dumb.
because there's hardly any blood in the movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Witchcraft enters the computer age, and a different terror begins.
computer. Wait, what?
And there's hardly any witchcraft.
Yeah, there's no witchcraft.
And it's a very low body count too.
The night no one comes home.
Now that's a good one because,
no Michael Myers.
but Michael Myers is the night he came home. So the fact
Yep.
that now it's no one came home, that's good. I like
And
that
then
one.
the Halloween horror continues. Not really, because there's no really continuation.
See, I mean, I guess the
Halloween, the whole series is all messed up because then it's like you got to go Halloween, and it's Halloween H2O, then Halloween. It's the sequence.
I believe that the
some
Jamie,
of them are out of the
Jamie
not
Lee
even part of the
Curtis
Halloween
character,
universe or whatever. You know, what I mean?
the Jamie Lee Curtis character has had like it. She had a daughter, and that was the girl that was in like Halloween 4 and 5. And then she had a
Paul
son.
Rudd's in one
She
of
had a
these.
son, and that was her son in Halloween H2O. And then she has a daughter, again, different daughter,
Judy Greer
in
and,
the new
whore.
ones. So she's had multiple different families because they've rebooted and redone this thing. The Halloween timeline's insane. It's like when you watch Halloween H2O, they're like, don't look at anything besides the first Halloween.
Oh no,
Yeah.
they did that for Terminator also.
Yeah, and then they
you
did
know.
with this one, with this new trilogy. They're like, you can watch Halloween 1 and 2, but don't watch anything else after that. And it's,
it's just
That's
like,
what I
what do
bailed
you-
out.
yeah.
I haven't even watched any of the ones
I watched
that you
the
mentioned.
first one.
I
the
watched
first new
Halloween Ends.
Oh, you
Is
said
that
it was
the last one?
terrible,
It
yeah.
was horrible. Absolutely shit.
I saw the first one, and I think I saw, was that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis who comes back?
Yeah, she was there.
Are you talking about this newest
Yeah,
one?
the newest one?
Netflix
It was on.
one?
It was on Peacock.
Or Peacock? Yeah,
Yeah.
Peacock, yeah.
But is she even in this last one?
Yeah.
Halloween Ends. Oh,
Yeah,
she's
she's
still
in
in it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
This was her last one that she's not doing anymore. She said
Until they
But-
say
Until the next one.
Until they say, hey,
they
do you
do it
need some
again.
more of that yogurt?
until
And-
until she's 80 and she just can't stop shitting because of Activia.
Listen, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's awesome. She can do no wrong. I love her, and it's fun that she keeps coming back to this because she doesn't.
Well, you know,
need
she
to-
like I was saying
She's
earlier.
the only reason that would make me watch it.
Yes.
If she wasn't in it, I'm not
And
watching
she- and
Halloween.
she doesn't
Ends
need
if
the
she's not
money.
in it.
she
she's
was
like-
in Halloween 3.
Oh, she was in this one.
Yeah.
What was she? A voice or something like that? Oh,
yeah.
whoa,
She
what
was
voice?
the telephone
video.
operator.
Yeah.
Oh, she
I read that.
was.
Yeah. When he was trying to call around.
Oh, the one said that numbers
yeah.
that you can't. You
Yeah,
please hang up and
disconnected.
dial again.
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually funny that they showed the commercial for the Halloween movie
Yes,
on
and that
TV,
was the
and
Easter
then
egg
later
drop,
on when
yeah.
he was strapped to the chair,
Yeah.
He's
the
watching it
movie
again.
was on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so Jamie Lee Curtis was actually in it physically too. But
Yeah.
so she was the voice operator.
I
That's
got
so
some
funny. That,
sex and nudity from the parents guide we had here.
I thought we talked about Todd Atkins.
We did.
ass
We mentioned the buttock shown. With one of the things here was a man gets out of bed. We see his bare butt. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
That's just how it was worded. There's some sexual references, jokes, and clothed sex in this movie. A middle-aged man makes out with a younger woman.
A
who looks half
middle-aged
his
man.
age.
It's true.
Looks half his age.
He was
yeah.
going to town on her nipple. Like he was,
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
see skin twist on
Yeah.
her nipple.
Yep.
Yeah.
As an actor, he's like, listen.
You have to wonder if they hung out.
I'm in the
at-
part here.
Did they
Okay?
hang
Yeah,
out
I'm in the zone.
afterwards?
Yeah, I'm in my character. I got it.
Yeah, this is listen. I'm not doing this to assault you.
I'm
in
not
any way.
enjoying
just-
this. This is
just
part
a
of the
character.
job.
Remember, I'm a drunken doctor,
That's-
so I'm
that's
going to
what
work your nipples a lot. Okay.
For the parents' guide, violence and gore. A man gets crushed between two cars. There's no crushing.
and no violence
And
either.
it was
He's
not a
just-
man. It was an android.
But it was really cool when they died and like the Jello pudding came out of their
Yes,
mouths.
it was like
It's
a green,
Yeah.
and then he had
Whatever
his hand,
it
it was all
was.
over his hand.
I actually
and all
read it was concentrated orange juice, which
Oh, really?
which of course always makes me think of Trading Places because that's what they were buying in Trading Places, concentrated
Orange,
orange
yeah.
juice. That's what they're cornering the market on. But yeah, so the concentrated orange juice was coming out of their mouths. And I noticed that one scene where they all die except her, and she is a android at that point, and he throws all the discs down and they all drop dead and she doesn't for some reason, but a lot of them don't have the OJ coming out of their mouth, and one guy does. I was like, how'd he get that part? Be like, oh man, I'm like, I don't have to clean up
I
after
guess
Yeah,
this.
that all confused me too because that box was, those medallions was in the corner. Why didn't they all just ignite then?
Anyway, right? Yeah,
Yes.
he didn't
Why
have to.
did
He didn't have to throw them down.
Throw them around like.
I guess this is jumping ahead too, but like my favorite scene was when he gets in the car and the arm is choking.
Yes.
Just the arm.
And I was expecting the head to like start biting his ankle at one point because the body attacked him, then the arm attacked him, and you saw the head just sitting there. I was like,
Yeah, looking
that-
around.
I'm like, that head's
like
going to
the evil
start biting
dad.
him.
Christine took big issue with the arm having no power.
Yes.
And it was choking her. And then when the body came out, and she was like, "Come on!"
But that was like a 10-minute scene. This like
Yeah.
detached body kept every time he's like when he's trying to close the door and he just grabs the arm. and
Christine
it
give you a
attacks
score?
him.
No, she didn't.
Text her and see if she'll give you one.
Okay. But I have an issue with her being one of them because she had a million chances to stop him and she did not.
Well, that's why it was
Yeah.
ridiculous that all of a sudden she was like, "Oh."
She was helping
It's
him.
really like when Elizabeth Hurley shows up at the beginning of Austin Powers 2 as a fembot, and they're just like, we knew it all along, but you're like, but you didn't know it halfway through the first movie.
But I'm guessing that when she was strapped down, was when they must have killed her sometime before that, and then she was the android.
Oh, and then they replaced her.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
that
I'm
was she
assuming.
was replaced
Yeah.
when he saved her for sure.
Yeah,
but like,
okay.
but still, she was like crawling around in the
But
catwalks
it
with
does
them,
make you
and
wonder. You know,
like,
if
she
she
was
was
a-
an android the whole time.
no, not the whole time. I don't think.
Yeah, but I think
she
it
was
was when-
replaced.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking she was an android the whole time.
Oh
No.
no.
I think it was when they had her strapped
Yeah, I think
down.
she was replaced. That's what it was. Yeah.
I thought this was a funny thing I noticed. It said it took 40 takes to get the shot when Tom Atkins throws the skull mask on the security camera. Director Tommy Lee Wallace revealed during the cast 2015 reunion that the scene took longer than he expected because during the shoot, he playfully tossed the mask and it caught on the very first try.
So he was like, "It's that easy. Just you do it like that." Did they actually show him throw it and
They
went on?
showed him
Because
throw it and it
I know
landed
they
perfect. And when
know
it
they
landed,
showed
I was like,
go
"Are
on
you?"
there.
I said, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Oh, see, I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
laughed at
I
that,
didn't
too.
really remember it actually leave it. Like they showed it all in one take, it leaving his hand and hitting the camera. Okay, I know when they first drove into that town, and the camera was on top of the roof, and it was like panning around. I'm like, did people have cameras like this in 1982? Like,
It
really?
reminded me that I think
And-
they
and
did.
the
Yeah,
quality
it's
of-
the old CCTV.
Yeah, and the quality of the video was 1982 quality of
Yeah.
video, so I was all right with
Yes.
it. Once they showed that, it was pretty terrible. I want to be the person that does the music in this because it was just me. Anytime you jumped, like at one point he was crawling along the side of the building. I think when he was trying to sneak back
When
in.
he's doing his
and-
commando moves.
yes,
You'll never hear London Bridge the same way again, right?
but that startling hey, that was the only time I jumped at one point in this, and the only time was when he went back to the motel when he left, and he left Ellie in the hotel. And then he came running back in, and I guess that's where she got
that's what
caught.
they abducted
That's where
her.
she got caught. And then he turns around real fast, and there were like 6 of those androids
Yeah.
right outside. And I went, hey, and I was like, oh, I was expecting that. I was like, okay. And then he easily crawled out that bathroom window.
I know, it was
that would have
such a
taken me an
setup.
hour and a half.
They
just
never
to-
showed that.
No, but they showed him crawling, coming out of it. But yeah.
Originally, Joe Dante was supposed to direct this.
Yeah, I
originally,
saw that, and I
so
wish Joe Dante had directed this because it
I
would have been
think it would've
better
an
if he had
interesting
directed
take
it.
on
Yeah.
No, when he was sneaking around town, he did a terrible job at it. But I guess those androids can't see shit.
They don't. They have no peripheral vision, I guess,
guess
because
so.
at one point he went running up on a cart and
Right.
Actually, the slide that he did one of those almost like Scooby Doo, like hitting his heels and fell down on his hands and then kept running away. I'm like, that's him. It's a long
Zoinks.
It's one long shot, so it's him definitely in that shot. And I was like, man, he actually just fell down on his hands and got up and kept
And
running.
he was right
but-
in their headlights too. But I also like how they show the telephone booth. I'm like, oh, it's a telephone.
how
yeah,
retro.
yeah.
Yeah, I do like the retro stuff and the cars, everything, but the telephone booth really.
Oh
got
yeah,
me.
all those cars were like 70s car, like 70 Oldsmobiles
I love
and
when you
stuff
see
like
like
that.
those movies like that, or even when you get like gritty New York.
Well, we've talked about
1970s
that, like
New
with
York
like
is
even
just so
Night Shift
fun, yeah.
and
Taxi driver.
Taxi Driver. Sure, but the movies we've done this year, we did Night Shift and we did another
Basket
New York,
Case.
Basket
Basket
Case, where
yeah.
you just see like the gross underbelly of New York. Like, oh, that's so good. That's so fun to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still gross, but
It was
it's
really
fun to see retro
Night
gross.
Shift. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was that's what I think. That's what really helps that movie being in that time period. But
So when they brought the old man in at the beginning after he got assaulted by the guy that got crushed by the car, he had that Halloween mask with him on.
Yeah.
By the time he got to the room, he still had it. I'm like, don't they take all your physical effects when you
Yeah.
get there? Like he had that mask with him because that was like Todd Atkins' first like tip off. Like he saw the mask and he was
Well,
like,
that's my hope. I had a problem with that, with how
death?
they made the association
Oh,
to go to the silver
yes, it is
a-
Shamrock.
It is a
Factory.
jump and
yeah.
a half of like they're like, he had a mask. Let's go there. That's the problem.
And it all fell into place.
how
But I
cool-
thought it was kind of funny about the rhinoplasty surgery that the old guy had at the beginning. That android came into the hospital bed.
ripped his skull that way. He broke his skull that way.
I guess,
yeah.
but he just reached through his
Poke-
eye
poked his
socket
eye-
and just pulled on his the bridge of his nose.
That's what they
and
said, he broke his- he
and he
broke his skull
fucking
that way.
died from that.
And it was weird that he was wearing gloves because he was an android. Why would he?
Yeah.
Because they showed him putting on like the black leather
You know,
gloves.
now that you think
he's
of
not
it,
going to
yeah.
wear fingerprints. So why does he care?
They were told, the kids were told to watch the movie or watch the special at 9:00 for the giveaway or whatever, you know?
Oh yeah.
And in reality, the movie Halloween from 1978 was broadcast on NBC at 9:00 Sunday, October 31st, 1982.
Well, that should be a movie that's on every Halloween night.
That
like,
should be like that, and I don't think channels don't do that. Like,
no,
you don't
no
see
one does that
NBC
shit.
or
Like when we were
CBS
growing
doing
up, like
stuff
Wizard
that.
of Oz was always on like Thanksgiving for some reason. It was
Speaking
always
of
on
that, the
Thanksgiving.
person that sits in front of me at work has just watched Wizard of Oz for the first time.
My son just watched it for the first time too. But Halloween should be like a national broadcast kind of. Halloween's on. Everybody watch it because it's a great movie.
Kind of is, isn't it?
But you have to. It's probably on Peacock or like it should just be on everywhere.
It should be on like network.
Like
TV.
when the
Like
president
Wizard of Oz, like
when the
you were saying, it used
president
to
comes
be.
out to give the State of the Union and
Willy
every
Wonka
channel
would-
puts it
I remember
on.
Willy Wonka would be on
Halloween
around
should just be
Thanksgiving.
on at 9:00 on Halloween night. Halloween should
Willy
just be on.
Wonka, Wizard of Oz, all those are good. Like Thanksgiving and
Yeah, yeah.
Christmas.
You know,
movies.
speaking of that topic, John Carpenter made a fucking classic with Halloween. But every movie after that, they always wanted to restrict his budgeting, like he
I
was
know.
some sort of fucking scrub.
Well, we talked about that with the Thing, like how
Yeah,
he had
and
no
Halloween
money to
3,
do that.
Yeah, the Thing, everything. It's like, why did they always hamstring him?
Well, John
when
Carpenter
he's
is
a
one of those
genius?
guys that
My favorite.
I know he's still alive, but he's one of those guys that was not respected in his time. Like
Yeah.
would do a great movie, and they'd be like, that sucked."
Well, that was the thing.
Let me just remind
The
everybody
Thing
that
for sure, yeah. But
Brian
Halloween
gave the
also.
Thing 65. Let's not forget that he gave it a 65.
That's
I
a
love
good
that
score.
Do you want to
for
change
me.
your score?
No, that's a good score.
I still don't understand that it's a good score for me. Thing, Andy, can you just?
It's a stupid score.
He grades on a curve.
So when that guy got killed with the bridge of his nose getting removed from his face,
From the nose job.
they didn't bring him to the morgue. They just left him in the hospital room. The daughter Ellie identified him still in his hospital bed.
That's true.
I was like, wouldn't they just like take him down to the morgue after he died?
I
don't know.
have the Silver Shamrock song was played so many times throughout this movie. I had a number of times that it was played.
Oh,
Do you want to guess how many times?
how many individual times?
20 times?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 25 times.
So
gonna
you
say
said 20,
15.
25.
15, 14 times.
14 times.
Yeah.
Okay, it was nonstop through that
Said
movie.
here we got 4 times at the gas station.
How much was gas? How much was regular
God.
gas?
Oh, I didn't see
Oh,
that.
I made note of that.
I didn't look at that. So this was 82.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was $1.13.
Anybody else?
Oh, no, that's close to. I was going to say
Yeah.
$1.12.
99 cents.
$1.32.
Well, it's
Yeah, this is
high.
California. It's always higher out there.
we might have been
Yes.
right somewhere in the.
Oh, I'm sure
in the
somewhere
US,
else.
somewhere, yeah.
In New Jersey, it was probably under $1 back
Yeah.
in 1982, but in California, not so lucky.
Do you
My
have
next
it?
2 notes after the gas are.
I was gonna say
Isn't it a
Brian
little
had
late to
any
ask
notes.
how
Do you have
old are you?
notes?
And
I did.
Todd Atkins' butt.
He's got notes this time.
I talked about most of them.
So when they went to so this is a Halloween movie in the franchise. Why wasn't one of those masks a Michael Myers mask? I think that was a big
They
misstep.
showed
right
it in
there
the
that-
movie. Like you saw that it was playing.
So the movie
They know of
Halloween
that movie
exists in the
in that-
universe of Halloween 3.
Yeah.
And yet they don't use Michael Myers' mask as one of their masks that they're handing out
That
to
could have been
these
the fourth
kids.
mask. There should have been 4 masks. The 3 that they had or whatever, and then the fourth one would have
Well,
been
Silver Shamrock probably was too cheap to pay for the,
The rights.
trademark.
They couldn't pay for the rights.
They could,
Yeah.
Their factory was a little shitty too. I thought.
They kind of
Very
went overboard
small,
on the
right?
Stonehenge.
Their
You know, I
factory
think
was
they
very
blew their
small.
budget.
Do
on
you know
that.
how we got that thing there?
It's
I
a
can't
long
even
story.
tell you. I'm not going to tell you how I got it here.
Do you think they just moved it right from the set from This Is Spinal Tap? That was what 1980.
I was thinking of European Vacation when Chevy Chase knocked them all down. They just came and grabbed one as they were cleaning that up and said, "Oh, we'll take care
I
of
think
this
he used
one.
that next year.
We'll take care of this one." We're losing one.
Yeah.
What happened? He has to pee. This doesn't usually happen, but we're gonna keep going. But go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've been trying to hold off, but I can't anymore. I'm
But yeah,
trying.
so
you want me to just pause it?
you want to pause it?
Just pause it.
All right, we'll pause it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
We'll be right back after this quick break.
Halloween, Halloween,
I hope you had a hell of a piss, Arnold.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back. Mac had to go to the ladies' room, and we are back. Where did we leave off? We're talking about the season of the witch.
But where were we?
Halloween Trace.
Do you want me to hit couple of my notes?
Yeah, what did you have?
Yeah,
on your
you have
notes?
shit written down, man. This is like epic, unprecedented, without precedent.
This is huge. We need like a fireworks sounding. And
This movie meant so
Clap.
much to Brian that
we
he
need-
actually wrote stuff
we need a
down.
clap.
There was
we need a
This wasn't
clap.
the movie.
One thing I
A
wanted to
clapping
remember.
sound right now would be great. Brian's got notes. Clap.
Oh,
That works.
so the one thing I wanted to really bring up was Marge's dress with all the glitter on it.
Was Marge the one that
the
showed up?
misfire.
She was the one that got killed in the hotel, but she
Yeah.
came to correct
Her
an
dress
order
was a
or
little
something
much.
like that.
It was a little busy, right?
It was, yeah, it had tons of glitter. It looked like a cocktail.
Well, that was
dress.
like an 80s thing, and she was like in her 40s.
That motel was ridiculous, by the way. Like, she shows up there, the
I mean,
Buddy Hackett family
Her
shows up
husband was
there.
a top salesman.
And by the way, the Buddy Hackett family, they pull up on their RV and hit the brakes, and their bike flies off the
Yeah,
top.
that's fucking
That is a
dangerous.
hazard. That would have fallen off at the first red light they hit, like, and it just fell in front of Todd
and then the kid
Atkins.
gets up. He's like, "Is it okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like,
And he rides
He gives
away.
his mom the finger. She's like, "Go in the streets," like giving her the finger.
You know, and I thought then, I was like, I hope that fucking kid dies.
Yeah, just gets hit
and
by
then I'm
a
like,
car.
he does die. I was
You know,
like,
gets his head. He's the one person that the mask actually
Yes.
kills. Yeah, that was great. That and
right in front of them too.
I was talking to-
Adam's right in front of him.
they like died from, just heartbreak or something.
No, I
you
think
know?
the snake bit
Bit
him.
one of them, the
and
other one fainted.
she
The mom fainted, and then that was
Like, I don't know why
it.
they won't take my order.
I was talking to a friend of the podcast, Connor, the other day about this movie, getting excited about it. I was like, oh my God, I'm like, in this movie, the kids put on the mask and all their heads melt and stuff like that. And I was really, it's been a long time since I've seen
Right.
this. I thought like there were
I
a lot
thought
of
it was a
kids'
higher
heads
body
melting
count.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like expecting all the kids'
Yeah.
heads to melt. And then as the movie's going on, I'm like, where's all the kids' heads melting
We saw more
here?
young Jedi.
I
killed.
watched this with Connor. And
Oh, was he
Christine,
pissed off? Oh, he must be so pissed
He made a
off.
comment
Yeah.
about that scene when the Buddy Hackett family died.
I was so happy.
And he was like, I was waiting for the scene. Andy made it sound so cool.
Oh, but I didn't think it was just. I didn't think it was just that scene. I thought there were scenes throughout the movie where
So
the
did
kids
I.
were wearing the
I
mask.
remember it the same way.
It's been a long time since I've seen this, and
Andy hyped it up way
yeah,
too much.
I apologize because this movie was terrible. And, I apologize for that. And the one thing I really want to bring up, because it was focused on multiple times through this movie, and it came out multiple times, but the blue hanky that Todd Atkins had in his back pocket, like he's running around the motel and he's got this blue hanky. Like at first I thought it was like, are those surgical gloves or something like that? He's a doctor. He's got gloves on him, but no, he just had like, this hanky hanging out of his back pocket. And then when they caught him, when he killed the one android, by just
that's
like
when he was
by-
wiping his hand.
by just and he took the hanky out and just like wiped the
had a
orange
purpose.
juice concentrate. I'm like, were they showing that hanky that whole time so that he could just pull that out and wipe that shit off his hand?
Can we talk about how come like hospital, like in movies, like the horror movies of the 80s?
I was thinking about that as he was,
Hospitals are always, why they always, there's
no
nobody
security.
around.
and it's so dark down
Well, I
those
figured it was
hallways.
like a-
There's never
Small
like
town
that.
USA.
Hospitals light, every light's on those floors. Every light's on those floors out in the hallway.
But when he was running after the android after he killed the old man, there were dark hallways he was
Yeah,
running down. I was like,
that's
why are there dark hallways?
makes no sense. I don't understand. It's always
Are they
like
trying
that.
to save money?
There's
They'll just
nobody
char-
at stations. There's full stations where there should be at least a nurse or somebody stationed there, you would think.
But hospitals are creepy in and of themselves.
Of course.
Like going into a
Yeah.
hospital, you're just like already
to
like
work in one.
you're already on guard.
Of
You're like,
course,
I'm in the
yeah.
hospital. Like things are fucked
But
up.
there should be more people that are around. Like you should see people, workers. There should be security. There should be.
But whenever a movie
nurses
like
and
focuses around a
orderlies.
hospital, I'm like already on guard. Like, okay, because there's gonna be sick people and dying people. I don't like what I'm going to see here.
But the lights are always on. I worked at St. Francis Medical Center.
and
when
it's
we were
super
going to ride.
bright and
Yeah, and I worked the midnight shift, and lights were always on. I used to have to walk through the whole place.
I mean,
course.
the new Princeton Hospital over there on Route 1, like it's like you walk in, it's like a plaza, big windows,
fountains,
water
yeah.
fountains. There's a statue. You're like, oh,
But they
yeah,
made it out like
not-
it was a hick town. That's what the feeling I got
They
about
did
it.
make it.
So I
well,
figured
the town of Silver Shamrock certainly was a hick town. And I guess they
Yeah.
were right next door to it because that guy was able to run from
Yeah, he ran
the
from
town to the
Oh,
next
true.
town, right? So they were right next door.
How did everyone feel about him grabbing the nurse's ass?
Oh, that was one of my notes. Thank you. Bring it up.
Was it-
Agnes.
Agnes.
Yeah,
But he-
Agnes, you should have been my wife.
But
And then
he-
grabs her ass, and I'm like, sexual harassment charge. Bing.
But she
You know,
said,
but back then, she just laughed it off.
she said no. She said I play for keeps.
Okay.
She plays for keeps. So she said, don't. And also, how did
I
they,
totally missed that scene.
how did
Now
they
I feel I have to go
pronounce
it?
watch it again, but
Yes.
I'm not watching this again.
I always pronounced it Sam Hain, but they pronounce it Samoa.
Well, we know Sam Hain from Glenn Danzig
Yeah.
for
Yes.
sure, but I know that's not the way it's really supposed
It's
to be pronounced.
Samoa.
But it's like Simhan or something like that. It's very Irish, Celtic kind
Yeah,
of.
it didn't match the word that
Yeah.
came up on with the words that come up on the screen.
the lady Stacey Nelkin, she played Ellie Grimbridge. She loved this character. That's why she took the role, she said. But she thought she would watch the first. She had never seen the first two Halloween movies. She thought she was going to watch them for inspiration, but she said, nah, she didn't when she found out there was no connection. She didn't even bother watching.
I love that she
So-
took this role because she loved the character. She took this role because she was like a 22-year-old actress and
Yes.
said, "You're paying me to do this. I will take this role."
This could be one of my first.
I have a
big-
chance to
yeah.
be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
I'm
you know,
in.
back then, you had Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th, Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street. You're like, I might be the next one of them.
I
was
think
a-
that's why Tom Atkins his agent probably hit this a crap script and he looked at it and he saw Bite's nipple and he was like, all right. 23-year-old Bite's nipple.
Hey, Todd, they want you to do
know I would.
They want you to do a by the moonlight butt shot. You down with that?
It said,
Yeah, I am. You know what? From behind, I don't look that bad.
You know, an interesting thing I saw in that, and I took note of it, was the accident or whatever, that misfire.
Oh,
You know,
okay,
on
yeah.
that woman there, she was reading a Carlos Castaneda book, which was a highly spiritual book. It was very popular back in the 70s and 80s. I read the whole series of them.
Did you
too.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
one of the commercials for the Silver Shamrock, there's a shop called Landis Department Store, a nod to John Landis.
Oh, so this takes place in the Landis verse.
Yeah, so,
So
American
weird
Werewolf
science,
in London.
weird science,
American
or
Werewolf
not
in
weird
London.
science.
Gremlins.
Gremlins, Twilight Zone. He's
Yeah.
gonna kill a bunch of kids with a helicopter in a year.
That year.
Yikes.
Yeah, you're right.
This movie is included on film critic Roger Ebert's most hated list.
Well, I hated it as a kid. I just hate it for different reasons today. But
Curious what your score is going to be in a little bit. We'll find out. Did Christine get back to you with
Yeah,
a score?
both Christine and Connor gave
All
us
right, good.
scores.
We got extra scores coming in. Let's see.
All of my notes take place on the last scene, so whatever
You
you guys
wanna,
want to talk about, I'm
Oh,
good.
I
But
got
like,
one more Tom Atkins note. He had tiny nipples.
oh god, we're all looking at his ass, and you're looking at his nipples.
tiny nipples.
He had super tiny nipples.
That's why he was able to appreciate her big nipples.
And
was
when I
funny
said
when-
it, Connor was like, "No, they're not."
It was funny when Ellie came out of the shower. Michelle was actually watching it at that point. She's like, "That is the smallest towel," and then she actually took the whole bedspread and just like wrapped it around her. I was like, "She heard you. She heard you say that."
I forgot
And
to
I
men-
was
I forgot
you know,
to mention though.
disappointed. I'm like, yes, the smallest towel. Oh no.
I forgot to mention the director. He did go on to direct It, 1990s It.
The John Ritter
John Ritter
ABC
one, yeah.
miniseries.
Oh,
It.
the shitty It.
Okay. Well,
I like that It. That's really
Did you?
good. Yeah,
there's good people in that.
yeah, that was good.
It-
Richard Mazur's in there.
Just like the most recent It, the first one's good, the second one's shitty. Like the kids, when they're kids, it's good.
Ellie's
When they're
ca-
adults, it's not good.
Ellie's car in this was a 1982 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Huh.
Oh, okay. Is that relevant?
I don't know. That's just they were saying some
Well,
of
we're
the cars
talking
that
about
were in
old
it, yeah.
cars. and
Ah.
There we go.
The car which Cochrane's assassin was a 77 Chevelle Malibu, and the 76 model is what crushes the assassin in the auto yard.
A Malibu. I had a 78 Malibu.
Oh, and the Connell Cochran, when he was driving by, He was doing like 3 miles per hour in his limousine.
When they got to the motel and he was
Yeah.
just kind of
And when he
eyeballing
got
them.
out,
Yeah.
This
Drove
is
so slow.
I think Brian will like this one. The second John Carpenter produced movie, the first being The Fog in 1980, where Tom Atkins plays a character who winds up having a sexual relationship with a much younger woman who makes the first move on him.
I do like that.
So in The Fog and in this.
We've
now I
talked
gotta
about
watch The
ladies, man.
Fog.
We've talked about the fog a lot the last couple months or
The Fog
weeks.
is-
The Fog has come up.
I
quite
love
a
that.
bit.
I think we have to
What
do
year
that
did that
thing.
come out?
80.
1980.
It's a terrific movie.
We
It's
could
really
do
good.
that. Could be one of our early.
Just do it to get it out of the way.
That was another brilliant movie.
I like that movie a lot.
Fog's
I've
great.
never
a lot.
seen that one.
So I just want to talk about the end here because I have a lot of notes about that. So at the end, he makes it to the gas station where the guy that brought in the
Sammy
old man
Davis
at the
Jr.
very
Yeah.
so he makes it there, and the kids come to trick or treat, and they have the masks on, the masks that are bad, and the one kid comes in and just starts changing the channels. Like
watch it.
he
Why
walks
didn't
in,
he, like,
but he
pull off
walks
the
into like
medallions
he
off the
walks
back
into
of the
another
mask?
guy's. He walks into another. I mean, he's a little kid. He walks into a gas station's
Young
room
punk.
and just starts like changing the channels. I was like, "Who's this kid think he is?" No,
I thought I didn't really pick up on it now that you're saying it. I think about it.
and then Tad
I have-
Atkins is calling the
station.
station
right?
saying, "Don't play the commercial, don't play the commercial," and they don't play the one, they don't
They
play
play
the
the
two,
second one.
and we don't know that the third one's and like when they went around the world and showed like Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, and they're just showing kids like
You know,
So
and I
is
just
Todd
kept-
Atkins calling all the world's or at least America's
All the
television
affiliates.
stations?
Well, I had a problem with the whole 9 o'clock thing because that's 9 o'clock
Where
California time.
in East Coast, they're asleep
Midnight.
already.
There's no
Midnight.
kids are going to die.
They're
on the
toast.
East Coast.
Yeah, they're dead
So it
already.
must have been just like the West Coast.
Let's say that.
That's where-
Let's say Chalice didn't get any. He didn't kill anybody. So
And then what about his own
He would have
kids?
killed millions.
He don't give a fuck
but
about
He
his
should have
own
called them
kids.
first. Well, he called
Yeah.
them first. He
Yeah.
said, "Don't let the kids wear the mask."
Oh, that's right. You heard that.
You're jealous.
It should have been Adrian Barbeau saying like,
So let's say that he didn't kill any kids. How many people died? What's the total body count for this movie?
It was like less, like
"Does
5.
Ellie count? Is she a dead body? Do we assume she died?"
I believe Ellie died.
Yeah, why not?
Ellie's dead. Yeah, I think so.
But we should have on-camera deaths
whole-
because it was supposed to be a horror movie, and it hardly was.
I mean, we got the girl at the morgue. We got the boy, the guy that came in that the whole Buddy Hackett family. The woman in the morgue.
And the punk-ass kid.
The punk ass kid, the bad guy. 10.
10. Brian.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to say 8.
8.
I'm going to say 6.
And you should have went right in the middle because it was 9.
Okay.
Number 9.
So Brian went over, so I
Number
win.
9.
Now,
no,
I,
yeah,
you
yeah.
went over.
Yeah, you
I
went
did
over.
go
yeah.
over. I can't do
And now
math.
you're saying Buddy Hackett, which makes more sense than your Buddy Holly.
Did I say Buddy Holly before? Did I say Buddy Holly?
Well, he did die twice.
I didn't hear him say Buddy Holly.
Oh,
I
thought-
heard Buddy
thought
Hackett.
in the beginning. you were
I would
saying
just
Buddy
like to
Holly.
say
He
I
might
have
have
been
said it,
drinking a lot recently. I have
I
3 empties
honestly
of
thought-
bourbon right here. so.
I honestly thought he said Hackett, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
it was. Maybe
Jason
now I
gave me one
heard
of those
Buddy
edibles
Hackett.
before, but like, you know, I stand by my Buddy Holly and my Buddy Hackett.
But are we ready to give scores for this, or
Sure.
is it that time? I mean, or do we have more time? I mean,
I mean,
think we could-
we're at 45 minutes, I think, for
Oh,
the.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
perfect time.
We had our
Yeah.
intermission and everything. We we had our
The piss
song
break.
and everything. Yeah, but
Plus the Phillies are on. Let's
Yeah,
go,
Phillies.
Phils.
Phillies are on. They are 1-0 in the series at this time.
Oh,
so
shit.
Yeah,
You're checking on the
Let's
side. Nice.
let's go ahead, Brian. You want to kick us off?
So
You have some scores from
Yeah, do you
from
want me
home.
to do Connor and Christine watch this with me?
Yeah. So what do we have for Christine and Connor?
Okay, so Christine gave it a 25,
25. Okay.
and Connor gave it a 30.
Okay.
I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm going to do 27.
27 for Brian. Okay. Do you have anything you want to say about it, or
It was terrible. The movie lasted so long. It was
Only
a
an
lot
hour-
of action.
hour and
Last
38 minutes.
15 minutes was really exciting, but everything leading up to that was terrible.
So you won't watch this again?
I'll never watch it again. Now.
I give this a 50. It was not good. I didn't enjoy watching it. I had better memories of this than I
What
did as
actually
I watched as I was watching this. I had a lot better thoughts in my mind about this movie as it came up. We were talking about Friday or Halloween 3 coming up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be so much fun. And then I watched it. I'm like, there is nothing fun happening here.
I'm going to come in. I'm going to say around the same score. I'm going to give it a 40. I would watch this again though, and I think in a group setting, I think this is a fun movie to watch to shit on, to sit around. And,
I was gonna say there's a
Yes.
lot better movies to watch in a
but that's what I'm
setting,
saying. Like
but
if
you
you're
want to
sitting
shit
around,
on it, yeah.
if you're sitting around
And you
hanging
even
out,
we're reviewing it too,
Yeah.
so it was good enough to watch again.
This is a good
and review.
This is a good Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes.
exactly.
Like,
There were a lot of comments flying when I was watching it.
I'd
with
give it
Connor and
I'd give it a
Christine.
40, but exactly like that was probably fun to watch with them. I think
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Not really, but
Like,
but it was better than watching it alone.
Yeah.
really, I watched it alone basically.
It's like
I
watching.
watched it alone on my iPad.
I'm
yeah.
right with you. I was thinking 50% before you even said that. And
That's
basically
fine.
for the same reasons, because I remember it being better when I was a kid, but I hated it as a kid
Yeah.
even too. So why am I going to change my opinion now? It still sucked, but in a different way now.
And it's so much fun that they like wanted to do a anthology, but keep the Halloween name. And
There was no need to keep the Halloween name for this.
I would be
Rotten
so
Tomatoes.
I would be so much in favor of a yearly. You want to keep the same name every year. You want to call it something, whatever you want to call it, and every year there's going to be one of those movies that comes out. And
Treehouse
it-
of Horror.
That would be great.
Like-
And every year it's
like a-
different.
like a
every
creep
year it's
show,
different.
A creep show, like a different.
Creep Show's
story.
a great example of it, but I guess that those don't make money because
It
I
Creep Show
love
didn't
like
make
they were
money.
just
and-
trying
Did you
to
ever see
ride
the-
the coattails of Halloween.
Did you ever see
And-
VHS? Those movies called VHS.
VHS, and
Yep.
you
Those
got
are
like
great little. They have like
Weird Al one?
five or six. No,
that's
it's UHF.
UHF.
Oh, UHF.
But
Weird
there's like-
Al.
It's like
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Kramer was in that too.
he was.
Yeah, there was like 5 or 6 little horror movies, and it's.
But you know, those all go, any of those kind of like there's 3 stories
Twilight
happening.
Zone, the
It's all
movie.
Twilight
So
Zone.
good,
It's
you know
all
what I mean?
Twilight
But
Zone.
you know, Halloween 3 pulled a profit. Did you go through those?
I didn't.
stats?
We don't do that on the.
Yeah, we don't care if they made money or not.
It was like I think because I was watching a review of it on YouTube, and they said that I think it cost like $2.5 million to make, but they made $14 million.
That's pretty
on
good back then.
Which is
Yeah,
a
it
surprise
is.
that they went back to Michael Myers in the next one, because the next one's Return of Michael Myers.
Well,
And
yeah, I from what I heard, the production company was like, enough of this shit. We're not doing this anymore. You know, we want to go back to Michael Myers, and here we are today, still with Michael Myers, totally retread.
because by then Jason and Freddy were probably
What did I
getting
do?
really big.
What did I
so-
do?
Not you. The other Jason Voorhees. They were probably getting so big that they're like, well, we got a guy. Let's do that guy.
Yeah.
Keep doing that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, what happened to him? Why is he on the bench?
But Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, it would have been fine if they just made an anthology movie
Or
every year.
included witches in it.
Or this is not a very good first start to your. We want to do an anthology movie every year.
You know
this is
that
not good.
this concludes our Halloween extravaganza.
Oh man, this has been a great, a lot of good movies.
No.
No, he doesn't want the music.
We're not doing
We're
that.
gonna
This-
wrap up.
We're wrapping
We're gonna
up.
do
We
a
got to
wrap-up
talk
of-
about. I mean, come
Who
on.
wants to watch a Phillies game?
I want to, but we would have talked a little
He
bit
doesn't
first.
want to watch. He doesn't,
Oh, you're not.
he doesn't
gonna-
even know what a Philly is. This
I was
guy.
gonna
Well, that's like me.
I wanted to talk about, like I said, we're wrapping up our Halloween extravaganza.
We have seen a lot of good Halloween movies this year. We saw Creep Show. We saw Poltergeist. We saw The Thing.
We had a great summer.
Basket Case.
We had a
Basket
great, we had a
Case.
great summer. We had a great summer movies.
Yeah.
Into
Summer
the,
of Abortion.
Summer of Abortions. We had a great Halloween season, and now we're going to start our. We're going to go into our end of the year. I guess we'll call it.
Are we gonna do any Christmas stuff?
Well, what,
I don't
is
know
it-
if there was any Christmas movies that are really coming up that we could do. Right?
What about Star
The
Wars?
toy might be the only one.
the toy does go around Christmas time, yeah, but there's nothing specifically Christmas. Like next year's Christmas Story, but
yeah.
and 48
And there's a
hours,
new Christmas
not 48
Story
hours.
coming out,
Trading Places.
A new Christmas Story coming out in November
Oh.
with Ralphie, the real kid, the kid that played
Is it
him.
really?
He's older now.
Yes, we
mean-
all are.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. So he's middle aged, like us.
I meant to say he's been a producer now that he's been not an actor as an adult. He's been more of a producer.
Although he was an Iron Man and Spider-Man
Yeah,
No Way
he
Home.
did those Vince Vaughn movies, that Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston movie, The Breakup or whatever. He did
not a
that
bad
one.
movie.
Yeah, he did that one. So he's in this movie. I believe he's the adult now, and it's about his kids. Maybe, I don't know. So I'll check it out. It's going to be on Disney.
Is it
Sounds like it has potential.
fast forwarding to like the 60s or 70s?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe
but I
he's
think
the
so,
dad
yeah.
now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I'm down for that. But that has nothing to do with the fact that Halloween is ending tonight,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went on.
and we've seen good movies.
Yeah, I had a fun Halloween. Basket Case being one of the highlights. I think we had a good
Basket
time
Case.
with that.
Highlight Slumber Party Massacre with our fan Kevin in Canada.
Yeah, we had
a low light, not because of you, Kevin, but because the movie was terrible.
that. I believe we were all not too.
I
happy
kind of
with
like
it.
that one.
That
Oh,
I
God,
think
that was-
I think you gave that the highest score.
And
probably.
Logan gets angry at me because I didn't like that movie so much. I'm like, dude, you want movies with tits and ass? Like, I'll give you a list. That's not one of them.
Revisiting Last American Virgin was so good
That was
because
great.
So happy to see that again. And of course, Fast Times.
I can't tell you how many times I've referenced that movie since I've watched it, and just like I
That
think
was a
about
Last
surprise.
American Virgin annoys me.
oh, it's such a great
Well,
movie.
I love. It
dude.
starts off as like a teenage sex movie, but then it turns into a tutorial on how not to be a cuckold.
But it did add very nicely
he's
to
the
our
first-
summer of abortion.
He's a simp. He ended as a simp. Yeah.
Yeah, he really did. But now I respect it in that way now.
But it was so good 'cause
retrospectively. But at the time, I'm like, what
felt
the fuck?
it, dude. I felt it.
Yep.
Even watching it now, I still felt it. I was like, man, that was me.
Gary from the Last American Virgin will get killed in
I
Friday the
did my
13th, the final
best,
chapter,
but I
a
guess
year from
my
now.
best
So one
was
day we'll
doing
get
it.
there.
We'll be doing
One
it
day
next
we'll get
year.
there. One day Gary will get a axe through the movie
And we'll
screen.
be there to review it
Yeah, that's right.
because you know
Did we
why,
do the?
man.
Did we do the review? The
Rotten
Tomatoes reviews?
Did I say Rotten Tomatoes critics was 48
okay,
and audience was 28? So they were kind of around there where we're at almost.
28's pretty low.
That's what I gave it
But-
a 27.
But usually the audience
Christine
is
gave it a
bigger than the.
25.
yeah, that's true.
But we went from 25 to 50 because Christine gave it a 25 and Andy and Brian
Mac.
both gave it a Mac here gave it a 50. But yeah,
Just for the record, that's my
Next-
lowest
next
rating.
week we got-
here.
upcoming we got some like Rambo's coming up soon. We have
Tootsie. We have Death Wish 2.
the toy Death Trap.
Death Trap.
Yeah,
Great
so
movie.
Larry
we got some-
Fishburne was in Death Wish 2. Also.
we got some fun stuff coming up.
Really?
Twist
Yeah,
your
he was the
mic
one that
a
was
little.
spitting chiclets, trying to hide behind the boombox.
We got some good
shot
stuff
through
coming
it.
up. Hopefully, Mac, you'll be here for some of these
Would love to.
coming.
Thank
You know, we enjoy having you here, and Kevin, we'd love to have you on again soon. And
I'm here for the orgy we have after the show.
we need to
We don't talk about that. here.
we need to have Dana on again as well.
We need to get a good mini for her.
Yeah.
I'm
One that
sorry,
doesn't get
Dana.
recorded over. But once again, we are the Exciting and New podcast.
And that
We can be
you are.
found everywhere. This is my favorite song. I hope it's going to be stuck in your head for the next few weeks. Again, find us on Spreaker, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you find your podcasts. We're there. I'm the Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This is Exciting and New podcast, and I'm Jason.
AE Gonzo 1 on Twitter, AE Gonzo 1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
And I'm Brian Mack, and you can find me everywhere and nowhere.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.